So Ann and I moved here from Toronto quite a while ago now, and one of the big
A long time ago. I'm like 24,
I'm not counting.
25 years ago?
Right. So I was 10. And so one of the main reasons that we came here was because of the quality of life for families, because we had a young family at the time. Hi, I'm Lance.
And I'm Ann, and welcome to Off the Cuff with the Chilton team.
Over the past couple of years, the fastest growing category of property buyers has been the investment category.
Yes.
It's up to about 24% now of people buying homes are buying them for investment purposes. And for those buyers, Barrie has been hugely popular because, in part, relatively low entry prices compared to the GTA, for example. If you're buying a rental property, the vacancy rates around here are rock bottom. You'll get quality tenants really quickly. Supply shortages, of course, recent bylaws allowing for duplexing of certain properties. So Barrie's a real hit with investors for a list of good reasons.
It has a projected population growth coming down the pipeline. In the next 5 years, they're expecting 20%, 20%, and over the next 30 years, 92%. So that's like 292,000 people.
Pretty much double.
And they all have to live somewhere.
They've got to live somewhere.
Yes.
So here's a look at the 5 best property investment opportunities in the city of Barrie.
If you're looking for property to rent to students, you should consider buying near Georgian College in the East End. Buying investment property near a college or university has several benefits. The first is that there's a large population of potential renters. These renters also tend to be long-term. This is especially true if the school offers multi-year programs. If a tenant does decide to move out, you won't have to wait long to find a new tenant.
And Georgian College in Barrie particularly has lots of amenities nearby, including medical offices, the hospital, public transit, of course, lots of shopping, lots of dining, and lots of gyms. And Georgian is now attracting a very high percentage of international students. Those folks, of course, need housing. Georgian's partnered with several universities, and there's a growing list of 4-year plus programs. So that for landlords means longer term rental contracts and, of course, less tenant turnover.
And headaches.
Okay. Yes, headaches.
Headaches.
Speaking of headaches, so let's address short-term rentals.
Okay.
Right? There's lots of places where you can't actually have short-term rentals. There are a few places where you still can, but if you're thinking of buying a property and using it for short-term rentals, then you really want to do your homework and make sure that they are permitted in
Buyer
the
beware. Investor
always.
beware.
Yeah. They're not allowed, for example, in the township of Oro-Medonte next to Barrie. You cannot rent a property for less than 30 days. Downtown Barrie, you can still have short-term rentals, VRBO and Airbnb.
And they serve a purpose. They do.
They do serve a purpose.
Furnish
no
people in
Yep.
between houses, on a job placement. Many of those people are having a hard time finding places to live.
Yeah, and downtown Barrie, I mean, if you want to spend a little bit of time here instead of a long time, it's great. There's culture, shopping, dining, the waterfront, of course, all kinds of things that are attracted to tourists. But there's also a terrific long-term rental market in downtown Barrie too. If you're going to purchase a condo for rent, great opportunity for return on investment.
So many
there.
opportunities there.
Absolutely. Just be careful. If you're thinking short-term, do your homework, make sure it's permitted, because lots of places it is not. And it's certainly not always welcome everywhere you go. But if you want to purchase a property, especially a condo property in downtown Barrie, great investment opportunity there. Newly built residential properties also present a good opportunity for investors. And there's thousands of acres of new build properties going in the southern part of the city of Barrie.
Yes, absolutely. And newer homes provide home warranty. So you've got a better chance of not having a leaky roof, of having appliances that work, and no unforeseen bills. And that is a very nice thing to have.
It's attractive for investors.
It is. And also a newer home or a newer development, you get in there for a year or two. Some people, they will invest in that and then they will sell and they'll move on to the next build. It's an early investment. You just have to sit there and wait.
That's really important, because lots of people say, hey, I'm going to buy this new build property, and then as soon as the streets are paved, or if the case of a condo, as soon as you get the keys, I'm going to put it on the market. Don't do that, because everyone has the same idea. So if you buy a house and you're going to sell it as soon as the street's paved, guess what's going to happen? 7 or 8 other investors are thinking the same thing. You're going to have too much competition. So if you're going to buy a new house or a new condo, plan on renting it out for at least a year or 2 or 3 after you take possession, because then you're not going to be competing with all the other investors who didn't watch this video. So let's look at a couple of neighborhoods. First, Lakeshore, for example. New condos in and around the Lakeshore neighborhood. They, of course, offer stunning views of Kempenfelt Bay. Properties, of course, have easy access to downtown and other amenities, so keep a lookout for those.
New condos are also being built in the sought-after neighborhoods of Ardagh. These condos are a short distance from Highway 400, trails, schools, amenities.
And they've got really cool newer architecture as well. If you'd like to invest in property on the ground, consider a townhome. There's development in Innisfil, lots of builds in the neighborhood along the borders of Innisfil as well. It's another highly sought after neighborhood for its lake access. It's on the southern side of Kempenfelt Bay, and there are really good schools there, as well as lots of the trails that we talked about in another edition of Off the Cuff. So Anne and I moved here from Toronto quite a while ago now, and one of the big...
A long time ago. I'm like 24,
I'm not counting.
25 years ago?
Right, so I was 10. And so one of the main reasons that we came here was because of the quality of life for families, because we had a young family at the time. So this is a terrific place for young families, and we're living proof of
It has everything.
how well that worked. Yeah, so
Yes.
so let's just go through some of the reasons why that is important. In 2019, Codrington Public School in East End, Barrie received a 9.2 rating from the Fraser Institute, which ranks schools across the country. This is the highest ranked school of any elementary school in the entire city. The next best is Algonquin Ridge in the south end of the city with a 7.9 rating. But important for both of those, they are in the top 100 of more than 3,000 public schools ranked across the country by the Fraser Institute. So if you're looking for great schools for your family, Innisfil for Algonquin Ridge and Barrie's East End for Codrington.
And also Codrington, the high school in that East End is Eastview,
Eastview.
and it is highly ranked as well.
The livability score is crucial when you're investing in a property, because livability is what is going to attract your clients or your tenants. So,
and what is livability?
well, livability is it's a score, so a livability score, and that means there's close amenities, shopping, schools, recreation facilities, etc. And one of the highest livability scores is found in the East Bayfield neighborhood of Barrie. So that's in North Barrie.
It's got the community center, the shopping malls, it's got schools, it's got easy access to trails, and anything you could possibly imagine.
East
Hockey
Bayfield
rinks
Rec Center,
everywhere.
the golf course, and that neighborhood has a livability score of 93 out of 100, which is the highest in the city. And here's the funny thing. So pricing in East Bayfield is generally lower than the average for the city.
So there is a great investment.
So
great
So the city of Barrie has a lot of the elements that investors look for. Population growth, which is key for obvious reasons, high livability scores, terrific infrastructure, proximity to the biggest population base in the entire country. So just a few of the elements that make this, I don't want to say a no-brainer for investors, but it is kind of a no-brainer for investors. And we've invested here for years as well as working as realtors. Yeah,
That's a big deal, and you
we
want
put our
somebody
money
who's
where
got
our mouth is.
experience with this sort of
Get
thing.
in the game.
Yes, and you want to make sure that whatever you decide to do, it suits your goals and your risk levels, and we can help you walk through that, as we've been through this before ourselves.
The Chilton team, getting you where you want to go.